Hey, Pro B's once again. Delighted to be joined by my comrade in the building once more, Mr. Dean Whyte.
What you telling me? There, man. Just here, man. What are you saying?
Yeah, man. I see you going for that mysterious look in the dark, man.
That's a look at thing, you get me? I think all the little turtleneck in the black cap, you know, we trap stars and that, you know what I mean? So we just out here, you get me? So
you know what? Like a whole year ago, we were prepping to go to Vegas. A whole year ago.
How time flies.
Yeah, man. Now I'm now prepping to go to Tesco Metro a bit later.
I was about to say your corner shop or for a walk in the park. You know what I mean?
Oh man. But do you know what? Having spoke about that, a year ago, it's Mark Breland. We got to talk about Mark Breland. Mark Breland came out just under a week ago and he basically ended his silence talking about, his relationship with Deontay Wilder and what happened that night where Fury was victorious. What did you make of a lot of his comments? There were loads of them.
Do you know what? With this boxing thing, in terms of when you've got teams, there's always many secrets and stuff that goes on in camp, and obviously if you're a part of camp or whatever, obviously he's got a loyalty to not maybe talk about and say stuff, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, I think Deontay Wilder and his guys have said quite a few things. So it's like, he just had enough. And he said, listen, I'm gonna say my piece. I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag, man. And, some of the stuff he said, it's like, as a coach or, the fundamental stuff that you're meant to be doing. He's talking about him not jabbing enough, him not doing bag work, him having mood swings and them saying that, he's in a bad mood. Jay Diaz is saying he's in a bad mood, don't talk to him if you don't want to be upset or you don't want to be fired and stuff like that. Kind of crazy, you know what I mean? So then what was the purpose of having him if, you didn't want to listen to your coaches or your team? Because, having yes men around you is only going to get you so far. You're going to come a cropper eventually. And I think a lot of teams tend to have too many of them in their midst and circle, you know what I mean? No one wants to upset the apple cart and tell people how it is, man. You got to, because sometimes they say the truth hurts. And in that case, the whole thing with them two, I'm not sure what Wilder's saying. He's saying the guy drugged his drink. It just seems a bit far-fetched, I don't know, but who am I to say, one way or the other? It does seems crazy to me, but maybe he seems to think the evidence is compelling. That's what his words were, they've got enough evidence and so on. But the man's had enough, man, you know what I mean? The man was an Olympian, former world champion. He is the most knowledgeable man in their whole team. He's probably the only man who's done anything in the sport of boxing as a fighter and coming in, understands boxing to win a gold medal, Olympian, world champion. I don't think the other guys has come even compare to his resume. So I mean, his knowledge is something different. Not meaning all good fighters make good coaches, but I mean, still understanding the sport of boxing. And he's saying, look, at the end of the day, I did what I thought was right to save my man, and I'll do it again. That's what he said. So it's a crazy situation, but I just feel like all of that stuff has happened. It's water under the bridge. I feel like Wilder's wasting time and talking about it and going on about this. I feel like he should be in the gym trying to seek redemption and find a way back from where he was, because he was world champion before. Now he's in the corner, kind of, if you get my meaning, by himself. Because look, the fight around the corner is Joshua and Fury now. Everyone's on about. So that means he's going to be to the wayside for a few years now, waiting in the wing, looking through the window. You know that meme. You know that meme where they got the guy looking at the window. You see them suckers, Joshua and Fury, they fighting. I hope one of them breaks their leg. We know them crazy memes. I think he'll be like that, through the window watching, man. But it's kind of weird, man. But look, listen, the sport of boxing, man. Strange things happen, man. What's your thoughts, though?
No, interesting enough. I think what I kind of picked up the other day was that he explained why he threw the towel in, and it was because they never had a cutman in the corner. He didn't need one. Now that I thought, wow, okay, now we're getting into it. Yeah.
That's what they said. But I think, you know, in every fight, you're going to face new adversities and different things. But I think prior to that, because he had been knocking everyone out, and that might be like a cheapskate thing as well, kind of thing, you know. Don't need a cut man, ain't had no cuts. Why am I spending all this money on a cut man? Let me cut back and save money. What do you think? Because I'm thinking, you know, throughout history, irrespective, you don't know what's going to happen in a fight. If you're going to get a perforated ear jump, if you're going to get a broken nose, you know, if you're going to get a cut across the eye or forehead or whatever. So you just say to yourself, I'm just not going to have a cut man because I don't need it. I normally knock people out. Normally you'd still have someone in the corner that does that. You know, historically you'd have your coaches, you'd have a cut man, and so, you know, like that kind of thing. But yeah, that was all weird as well.
And could you imagine if Fury never employed a cut man for the Otto Wallin fight?
He'd have got skin out.
This is what I'm saying.
And that cut man saved him that night. And look where he is today. Mad.
What did you kind of make of Wilder's response? He says he doesn't know where it all came from. He's been Breland must have been jealous for a while or resentful of him.
Yeah. He was saying some crazy stuff about, oh yeah, you know, I brought him around my family and my kids and so on and so forth. And then he started to say, yeah, he must have been jealous watching me because maybe I didn't talk to him as much and I had a family and, you know, we didn't communicate. Or it's just a bit weird. I don't understand, like, you know, because you see when you've got a coach, it's quite a close thing, you know, because you spend a lot of time throughout the day together, you know, in the gym, talking, planning, preparation for what you're going to do maybe on that day. But going back now, if you look at what he was saying, Breland, he was saying a lot of the time the communication started to become through Diaz. And Diaz was the one that was saying, well, listen, he's not in a great mood today. He's, you know, the temperaments, we're going to have to, you know, just kind of, you know, let him do whatever he wants to do and let him kind of cut through. But it's just confusing. That's got nothing to do with nothing. Your mood swing is your own business. That you got to deal with that yourself. Like when you come to work or as if it's a job, if you do have a mood swing, you can't let that mood come into the workplace and affect. It's just like your job. When you come in now, you're here to listen and learn and practice what it is. I understand it's easier said than done because, you know, sometimes, you know, emotions, mental health is something totally different. But I'm saying, as a professional athlete, that's the word, it's professional. You need to come in, switch on, do what you need to do, or maybe even talk about it before the training session to try and release something. And sometimes some people say they find a way out by releasing tension, by doing bag work, which historically, yet again, is the thing what made a lot of legends who done a lot of bag work, didn't do no bag of pads. What they did is they did hours of bag work, they did hours of sparring. And working on the jab is a pivotal and fundamental thing. And Breland was saying, look, they didn't really want to do those stuff, bag work, working on jab, you know what I mean? And everyone was afraid, tipping around on eggshells, not wanting to upset the bronze bomber for fear of losing their job, you know? And that's not a nice environment to be in also.
Have you been around, like, obviously, you know, other fighters where that same atmosphere is like that, where you can't really say nothing, do you know what I'm saying? It's a bit tense. We've been around that.
Listen, you know, I'm not one to hold my tongue anyway, you know what I mean? But I've been around it and I've seen it because there's people who are tentative and you know, they kind of walk on eggshells in certain scenarios, and I sort of get it to a degree, but no, that's not. I'm not from that era. I've been brought up different. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man, so I just do my thing and speak my mind if there's something on my mind all the time. Some things sometimes are not. If it's not always. Sometimes if you ain't got nothing good to say, they say don't say anything. So sometimes there's that also. You know what I mean? But I mean, if you're around a situation and you feel like it could be beneficial or detrimental, and you're around something, you're around a team, then you know you should kind of try and assist, because that's what you're there for as a team. There's no I in team, so you need to put your input to benefit the team. You know what I mean? So you just sitting quiet when you can obviously see maybe there's something missing, there's a flaw. You know what I mean? And I think that would be very difficult. Yeah, I think it would cause a lot of problems in the long run. You know what I mean? But you know, I think it happens a lot more than, you know, people might think, because like you said, you know, there's a lot on the line. If you've got a job and you've got bills to pay, and then after you talk up, and then the one of the fighters switches and say, "Listen, man, I've had enough. You're gonna be out the door soon. I'm just finished with you." Like, they're gonna say, "Oh, yeah, all right, you know what? All right, calm down, no worries. I won't say anything. It's all right." And they say, "Yeah, I apologize. I didn't mean to upset you." Yeah, well, just stop. You know, like, so in future, when you see something or you feel like something, you might think, my job's on the line. You know, like, it's kind of techie. You get what I'm trying to say? But
would you make obviously Wilder's kind of, you know, final comments on the Breland thing, saying that Breland is a bitch and he's gonna die broke? Strong words.
yeah, I did kind of. I think that was, I kind of heard that towards the end. I can't remember if I even finished the whole thing or what. Yeah, it is strong words, and I don't know. I guess once the apple cart's been kicked over, all the gloves are off. It is what it is, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? You're not friends, so maybe he just, you know, he's talking aside what he's saying, that, well, you know, I don't care for him, so whatever happens to him, as far as he's concerned, he may feel that, and Breland feels that he saved his life possibly, but he may have felt like he's ruined his life. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's him just saying that. I'm not sure. I'm sure he got paid quite comfortably from being in the coach, but you never know, actually, because, you know, they had a few coaches, and, you know, knowing, you know, some of the guys, they probably might have, you know, maybe cut his purse, you know, like navigated it where it was, you know, not percentage wise, it was just a fixed fee or whatever. I don't know. So I'm not sure how much money he made of what he did, but I'm sure he made a good bit of money. How he moves forward now is a totally different thing, because I don't know who else he trained prior to Deontay Wilder, or if he had any other up and coming starlets. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But what we do know is that, depends whose side we believe, that he cares for his fighters and he has their best interests at heart, because he's not going to just let them, you know, fight to the end and go out on their show, where going out on their show may potentially end up killing them or making them brain damage. I don't know, you know. So, you know, there's that aspect as well. But it's just fighting talk, man. It's fighting talk. Maybe he wants Breland to come out and try and say something else, or meet him in the car lot, man. Alabama River or something. Let's duke it out.
Is it? I mean, some people looked at it and said, "Look, well, Breland is saying that he's got a son, almost Deontay's age. In some ways, is that kind of disrespectful to your elders?"
Yeah, but I don't know. A lot of these youngsters, they don't respect their elders as much in this generation. Not being rude, sorry, not all, but I mean, a lot of them don't. You know, but they don't seem to have too much respect for their elders. And I think it's different because it's like he worked for Deontay Wilder, so maybe this is a working relationship as your employee, as an employee, or your employer. You know what I mean? So it might be different, but like I said, it's just fighting talk, man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he feels that the man's lonely, will end up broke, probably won't work in the sport of boxing as high as he did with me again. You know, like that kind of thing. So I don't know. Listen, both men had you know, they've done their thing. You know, you just got to kind of wish them on their path as best as they can be, and the man, they get over it, man. Breland seems way too humbled and cool for me to, I don't know, you know what I mean? He's not brash and loud and outspoken as much. Obviously, he's come out and said some bits recently, but I suppose, you know, pressure bust pipe, they say, in Jamaica. So, you know, like, eventually all that pressure will tell, you know what I mean? And he's just had enough. He said, you know what, let me say my little thing, and we just go from there, you get me?
All right, Dean. Before you go, I need to ask you about the appointment of Mark Tibbs by Daniel Dubois. Interesting news this week.
Yes, it's not bad. It's good. Mark Tibbs' stables picked up. You know what I mean? Since obviously, Dillian got rid of him. He looks like he's everyone's fan favorite now. Everyone's putting a lot of fighters his way. You know, credit to him. That's good to him. But you know, it's I'm wondering where was all this energy when he was with Dillian? How come no one was offering bare fighters to Mark them times? But you know, it's great. I think it's good for Mark. Mark's got Billy Joe. He's got John Hedges. He's got Daniel Dubois. He's got a few other young ones coming up. It's good, man. You know what I mean? I think Mark will Mark's words are like, yeah, we'll just pro you up. You know what I mean? Sharpen you up, pro you up, mate. You know what I mean? Bang, bish, bosh. Mark's smart. Hey, listen, Mark's a special guy, man. Trust me.
I just love the way that, you know, I just love the way that Mark, you know, the water in the corner, man. That meme, man. I just always remember that, man. And he's giving Dillian the water in the corner.
Yeah,
I remember
that is funny. But Mark, listen, Mark's proper, man. Mark's old school, you know, Tim's family, renowned. And I wish him luck, man. I like Mark a lot. I chat to him still. You know what I mean? Got time for Mark. He's got time for man. Me and him, we have a you know, nice bit of jokes. He goes, yeah, bloody hell, Dave, I wonder where you've been, shine you big lamp. He's mad, bro. Mark is too funny. You know what I mean? He deserves this, man. Trust me. You know what I mean? So let him do his thing, and hopefully he brings, he'll bring that that bit what not Joe Joyce, I bloody said Joe Joyce. I mean Dubois needs, you know what I mean? That bit of experience, patience. You know what I mean? Because you can see in that fight with Joe Joyce that he lacked that experience. You know what I mean? That patience. And I think he kind of became a little bit bewildered in there when he couldn't land the right. You know, he didn't know what to do a little bit. So, you know, hopefully, let's see what happens. Let's see how it all unfolds.
You think ultimately it's going to be really difficult for Daniel Dubois moving forward now because, you know, people are going to target the eye when he comes back. So,
in terms of the fear factor, a lot of people, you hear that quite a lot. They believe the fear factor has gone, the invincibility shield, which, you know, that they say was there because he was knocking out everyone and doing this and doing that. And you're right, a lot of people might start trying, people will emulate that same thing. People are going to try to emulate, you know, jabbing and trying to hit the eye. And, they, you know, if he's quit once, people are going to believe that he's going to quit again, you know, so. You know, it's one of them.
All right.
It's down to him to prove them wrong, man. Let's see.
All right. And how would you kind of build him back up? I mean, what would you do with Daniel?
I think he just needs to, well, it's kind of, where was he? That was for a European title, right?
European,
British, European and stuff like that. So he's still in that kind of level. So he just needs to go back and get in there and get some time in the ring and get comfortable again, get confident, see how he feels, you know, feel it out. But he doesn't want to walk in a part where he's just going to go in there and punch them and they're going to drop down. That is definitely not what he wants. He wants someone that's durable, and you know, he can take some punches and give some and see how his eye feels, see how he feels, and see, especially because he's going to be gelling with a new trainer, how it feels to be with a new team. It's something totally different, you know. So I think he needs to take his time, come back slowly, and then it'll be interesting to see how you know, it fares, because you've got Fabio Wardley who's fighting Molina soon, you know. So you know, it might be a fight down the line that them boys could. I think that'd be good for the English, you know. But obviously, I think he's fighting Molina in a few weeks, so that's going to be a fight he's had. I think Dubois would need to come and have a couple fights. And then I think down the line, that'd be a good fight for them both boys. You know, they're right. You know, there's a lot of hype behind Fabio, and then Dubois is obviously coming off what he's coming off. So it'll be interesting.
All right. Mr. Dean Whyte, it's been a pleasure, man. Once more.
As always, man.
We'll get through this lockdown, man.
Yeah, listen, I'm busy anyway, man. So, I'm getting through it one way or the other.
All right, man. I'm gonna head to Tesco Metro real soon, man. So, all right, man. It's Dean Whyte, man.
Listen,
thanks for your time,
very
man.
much, man. Take it easy.
Talk. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you.